Okay, let's say there. Good morning. We are Tafresh Zion. Dine Ubra Menekes. Well, the next two Simanim are, this being welcome for all the big shilas for Yom Kippur. So everyone has to take, this is halacha of Lola Maisa, and everyone has to understand that any shilas have to be discussed with a doctor and a rav together. This is just, so you know when to ask the shaila. Ubrais, Minikais, Misanois, Umashlimais, B'Yom Kippurim. Ubrais and Minikais are chayiv to fast on Yom Kippur. Orach already jumps in and says, well, Menekes, so what happens if she's possibly going to lose her milk because she's because she's fasting? So if it's so, Orach says that if Taka she's going to lose her milk and it's going to be a sakana for the baby, then it's pashut that she doesn't fast. The question that the place can discuss is what if her milk is going to go down? So again, each child has to be asked. The fear Inyan. If it's just going to go down for a bit and go back up. It depends on the baby. It depends what's going on. The place can also discuss about whether, well, maybe even if it goes down, well, you can put the baby on formula until it goes up. It also has to be discussed with the rav because I guess it sort of depends. If a baby only nurses, then I don't think Rabbanan say that no, you have to put them on formula. It could be Ibn Sina Bashal said if you're talking 50, 60 years ago, they different things formula was seen a little bit different. So again, you have to ask a rabbi. The another question about if a mother fasts and if it's dangerous for the baby also includes if she is pregnant and it's going to be dangerous. She'll give birth too early or anything which could possibly cause danger to the baby. Again, these are things that need to be cheshbon. Beis ubra shehericha. If she a woman who's pregnant and she smells something, and you see her face like it gets pale. It's a little bit unclear. What does it mean? But you could see like she's something's wrong. Even if she doesn't say, yeah, no, I know I need it. You whisper into her ear, Yom Kippur. If she calms down or the baby calms down, then that's good. The Gemara says that you first give her some rotev because it's really not. It's not that she needs to eat. That she's it's just that she that she has a certain extreme craving and because of that she's feeling faint. So maybe just a taste of the of the fruit, some juice or something might do it, and if not, then you eat normally. Again, you don't play around, and again, this case is a little bit unclear case because I don't know how many people. I know when we get cravings this, but if a woman suddenly looks sick and whatever, then you have to be siachis to it. Someone who smells food and suddenly his face he turns pale, whatever it is. It's dangerous if you don't give him some and you have to give him some. And this is also applies by any time someone, you're eating in front of someone and he suddenly looks like he has to have that food and it looks pale, whatever it is. It's also the same type of din, as with the muberes. That the chiluk they say is that by muberes. Is if we see her looking faint or whatever it is, then we feed her, even if she doesn't say no, I need that. But by chayle, if Only if he said if he says, "Oh, I need that," then that's why I'm feeling sick. Whatever it is, then we give him. But by muberes, the simanim are enough. And the story in the Gemara about the Uber Shericha, the famous story about the things of Yochanan, and how is it? Something Mafkiya Shah. I can't remember the name. Mafkiya Shah. I meant to look it up. That there was two pregnant women who had the same problem. Suddenly she was Mericha and she needed food, and so they whispered into one ear, and she calmed down. And that baby who was born was a Yochanan. Different one couldn't calm down. She ate, and that baby grew up to be some Mafkiya Sha'arim who was used to rip people off and things or whatever. So I guess not saying anything wrong with what his mother did. It was just pointing out that sometimes there's certain teva to the Vlad that the Vlad was able to calm down. Anyway, Dal Yoledes Toich Shosha Yamim. Yoledes if right after birth in 3 days, as they said in 2 hours. Lo Tisana Klal. She doesn't fast at all because she's in the Zman of Pekuch Nefesh.
Does that mean not even shiurim?
Yeah, so right. So it says Mishabur Achim Kolokon Yisha Achila as Pachas Pachas Vikashir. But if it says but she says she mamish needs it, then she eats straight. If she says that no, I don't need it, so but we say okay, you have to eat. Doesn't make a difference. I want to fast. Doesn't make a difference, and you give her a lesson in shir, and that's okay. But if she says that she's weak and she needs it, then then it's a shayt koch nefesh, and you let her eat regularly.
You force her to eat only until the 72nd hour, or as long as the 72 hours falls out on you.
No, so I think it's a 72nd hour. I need to look that up. I'm pretty sure I saw that. I have to double check that. Mishloshav ad shiva im amr tzvicha oni. If it's from 3 to 7, she says, "No, I need it." And then we give her food. I guess that's it's shirim. And then it depends if she says she's the whole shein bo sakana, and according to the situation. Oh, so we don't count it meisais. Apologize. Kagoin yalda b'shibud b'susha be'erev emachin lo'isav yom kippurim lo amr tzvichani. Avo b'shel shamu lo shoshayam ad yom kippur be'erev. Shem nekivat shenichnas yom avi leidasa mikri la'acher shloisha. So therefore, if she gave birth on at night on Shiva B'Tishrei, so then we don't feed her on Yom Kippur unless she says tzvicha, because it's out of the, even though it didn't stop it. That it's like you said, 72 hours. It's the chumrah though that it's 3 days. It's 3 days. It's less. I mean, it's really less. It ends up being less than 3 days. But again, if she says she needs it, she needs it. It's just a question of, do we force it to eat? Okay. So and there's one other nakuda that the Bialacha points out is that for after birth is that after being called the stay chemed, Bialacha points out that after even a woman who is mapelis, a woman who has a miscarriage also has the din of a yoledes, and she's still the 3 days she's chayavas to eat, and or after 3 days it's the same din. If she's about pelis, I think from under 40 days, so I don't think she gets that din. But only a woman who actually goes, she has a miscarriage, it's an actual real miscarriage. That there's the baby's big enough to, then after 40 days, so then that she has that din.
Why for a miscarriage it would be 40 days, and for a full birth it would be 7 days?
No. For miscarriage, the vlad is up to 40 days. she takes a pregnancy test, and she knows after like a month, and then she miscarries. So then, or after 2 weeks, whatever it is, she doesn't. She has to fast. She has to fast. She has to fast. But after 40 days, then she has then she has the same day as your lettuce. Right. There she bring the place can talk about if she if she has a cesarean, does that make a difference? And they say that she's din of a chayla either way. After a surgery, she's even weaker. So it doesn't have the same. Ladavka has the same exact gedarim, but it's still it's not something. Oh, she's on your letter. She's still machem sakana. Tafresh yudches and then a chayla. Chayla shetzarich le'echol. A chayla who needs to eat. Poskim bring down that a chayla who does need to eat, and we'll see when doctors this whatever. However, if he doesn't eat and he says no, I'm going to fast, then he is called he's called as dimchen. It's not shaseichen. Lashon Aruch Shulchan. That's Lashon Shavur. Aruch Shulchan says it's committing suicide, and he's going to be so it is very chomer. If a doctor says the person has to go ahead and has to eat, then he's chayiv to eat. When it comes to medication, in Bikaron, there's no, if he has to take medication, then he should take it without water. Someone said you should practice before. He should practice before and see if he can do it without water. If they can't do it without water, then since it's not derech achila, then what the priest can say, if it's an important, not if it's like a vitamin, but if it's something that can't be pushed off until Motzei Yom Kippur, then he should take. Obviously, if you're Indian, speak to a doctor. Then he should take. Then he take it with a little bit, possibly a share of water with something bitter in it. Sometimes they put, remote, like the white part of pomegranate, or it's a grapefruit in, whatever.
They juice these things?
Mm-hmm.
They juice these things, or they just put the white part?
You can soak it in, and makes the water bitter. That's all. Sometimes you break a little bit of the pill up, and it makes the water bitter. Or even I heard if you take. Person's used to drinking, drinks tea with sugar, and you just put some regular, straight tea in, it's not something people normally do. So then that would be enough. And again, obviously, it's much better a person would take a pill. If he needs to take a pill, pachas v'kashir, a little bit of water, something to take a pill and be able to fast the rest of the day, then have to actually eat. And also, the Bir Halacha says later on that every achila is considered a separate achila and a separate chiyuv. So a person breaks his fast because he needs to eat a little bit, otherwise whatever. So then he has to continue fasting, because every achila is not like, okay, well, Tisha B'av, you broke your fast, you don't have to fast, finish. You don't need to fast anymore. Yom Kippur, even if you broke your fast because you need to eat, you have to continue fasting after that. If there is an expert doctor, even if he's not Jewish, and if you don't give him food, he's going to go ahead and get sicker and come to danger. Then then we give him food al piv. It's not only he doesn't have to say, well, maybe he'll die, just that it can get dangerous. Shulchan says there is a bit of a machlokes between Babli, Yerushalmi, whatever. B'kitzer, we paskin suffix that we pass like the Yerushalmi, that's the suffix nefashos lahakel, and we don't make cheshbonos. If there's any suffix that yistake means, it's a suffix. Maybe he can. He can get. There's like a tzad rachok. He could die. Then he's chayiv to eat. We don't play around. There's no playing around with, well, let's give him some, let's set him up with IVs and this, whatever. you give him to eat. Um, and the question, who's a rofe baki? So it has to be. We're going to get into discussion later on. One doctor against two doctors in this, but a rofe baki has to be the way the Aruch Shulchan sets it up. As like his lashon is that I guess in this time there's there is the healers and then a doctor who is lashon doctor, and he said that I met a doctor who was trained as a doctor. There's no question that he's gonna his opinion goes against any healer or anything like that, or any alternative doctor. Even if he's emistic and he's not playing games and it works, but upon him, a doctor who's trained in medicine, his opinion was above. But they do ask a question. It says, "Afilu ovi kachavim," is what about someone who doesn't keep Yom Kippur, who's not from, and doesn't keep Yom Kippur and doesn't care about Yom Kippur? So in some ways it's much more because a goyish doctor, so Seder, to a certain degree can respect, not respect. He's just taking his medical opinion. But someone who doesn't even fast, he himself doesn't fast Yom Kippur, is Vazi Yom Kippur. So it's a shaila whether to trust his opinion. Just eat on Yom Kippur because he doesn't care about Yom Kippur anyway.
A non-from doctor is worse than a guy in this regard.
Yes, it could be. It can't. Opinion. It can't. It sort of depends on who the doctor is, and so you have to investigate. Like, is he saying, break his fast? Is he just saying it because why are you fasting in the first place? What's wrong with you? Or is he saying it because it's a real medical opinion? Because of how biased, whatever. It's a discussion. Any tzarich showing the reif, even if the chayla says I don't need to eat, I don't want to eat. Showing the reif, we listen to the doctor. If a person who's ill says I need to eat, I feel a meya reif eno tzarich, showing the chayla. Even if 100 doctors say no, I think he's okay, then he still eats. So the Mishnah says at first you have to tell him, listen, remember it's Yom Kippur, remember it's this. But if a person knows, a patient often knows better, sometimes knows what's going on, like something's wrong, more than a doctor. And whatever. It's dumb. I mean, it gets the sign of a good doctor is someone who listens to his patients. Medical knowledge, it gets to a certain point, and when they just override their patients, and the patients say, something's wrong, and they say no, whatever, listen, then it's a certain gaiva, and the Chazal say that a chayla knows his own body, and therefore he can go against even 100 doctors if he feels that he has sakana. Obviously, if the guy's hypochondriac, or the guy is mentally not dealing with that. Someone's a normal person and things like that, then that would be. And then we listen to him. If one doctor says he needs, one doctor says he doesn't need, machilim also. So again, one against one, safek nefashos l'hakel, and we give him food. Hagav huadin l'shnayim neged shnayim. If you look tzad tzad keni reli, that again, if you have 2 against 2, even if the other 2, again, we're talking about 2 trained doctors, and maybe these people have more specialization than these. But if the person can say if a doctor doesn't have any training, he's a family doctor and he has no training in vascular, I don't know, whatever it is, he's not considered a doctor. Klape that, if he has no training in a very specific type of type of thing, cardiologist usually they have general training, but depends on specific diseases and things. Then he's not nechshav anything, But if there's 2 types of doctors and they both have training, 2 are a little more expert, then we still something not fashas hakel, and we feed them. However, the Mishra says in Roisanim Tzarechim Merubim, then we go if a row of doctors say that he should eat, even if they're much less, Rov say, then we go basar Rov again, and because of something nefashos the hakel. Gimel, and they say that even if a person paskins or Rav paskins, he person should eat, then there's not going to be any chiyuv over here because it's an oinus. A person acts according to, if he goes according to the best medical knowledge he has, well, it's on hand. The Rav passes according to that. So then he's an honest. It's not. No one's going to be, no one's going to be culpable in this case if they find out afterwards. Oh no, he really didn't need to eat. There's no. It's okay. Gimel v'mechayla v'roife echad imo oim she'enu tzarich v'roife echad oimer tzarich. If the chayla and the roife say he doesn't need to eat, and the roife says no, he needs to eat. Oh she'achayla eino oimer klum, v'roife echad oimer tzarich v'shleim oimer eino tzarich. Ein machilim also. Then we're not ma'achel him because we go basar roiv. And that's unless one doctor is much more of a specialist, but in general, if it's just they're all around the same, then we go basar roiv, we're not ma'achel him. We do say something that fashion the halakha, but we don't have to be choshish for every far off chash if you see that there's a rov. Im daled im shnayim oimrim tzarich afil mea oimrim eno tzarich. If two say they need, even if 100 say they don't need, afil achayla omer imahem sheno tzarich. No, I don't want to eat. I don't need to eat. Machila ma'isay me'achar sheshnayim oimrim tzarich. Once two say it's like edus. And so therefore he's chayiv, the same idea, he's chayiv to eat. If the echol can starve to one of the doctors, then you are ma'achel him. We're not chayshish if the chayil says eno tzarich because we believe the roife who says that he needs. One more. Hey, imachayla oimer eni tzarich v'haroife mesupuk. If the chayla says no, I don't need, and the doctor is not sure, machilim also. Even still, something the fashas hakel he has to eat. Or imaroife oimer eni tzarich v'chayla oimer eni yodea, ein machilim also. Even the chayla is a suffix, or maybe I do. That's not enough to machriya. That's not enough to machriya. And then just do vav imaroife oimer she'enu makir sachayli. If the doctor says no, I don't know what's going on over here. Harehu ka'adam da'alma ve'ein dvarim ma'alim v'lo maridin. Then even if he's an expert, he's like, I don't know what's going on. Then either you find out the doctor or you don't. Then you go by what the chola says. I go miyu in nechlash harbe ad shnira l'rov b'nei adam she'etzu masukan. You see the guy is very weak, and people are. I'm not a doctor, but I can see something's wrong over here. Masukim lo oichal machilam oisa. The guy, the guy faint. We're talking about someone like he faints, this, whatever, and you can tell. So start running to find a doctor. Give him food. You don't. They say that the Orach Chaim Soloveitchik used to have a bag of cookies or something in his shtender on Yom Kippur. So if he saw someone, he was worried that he needed to eat, he would make him eat. Like he would have food on hand, and he would be looking around, like as a Rav, looking around to see if people needed to eat.